Well, here we are yet again for another Flirtini. We have come full circle. It is a new week, and this one today, very much a choose your own adventure as I asked you, the flirties, what you would like me to talk about here today on this Flirtini. And you told me. You told me, I gave you a few options, and you chose top choice. Drum roll, please. Imagine the drum roll. You chose flirting and conversation tips for a date. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. So, whether you are gearing up for a first date, you're well into the dating process, or somewhere in between, let's say two, three, four, this episode is for you. Okay, first things first. Remember, the date starts with you. Yes, it does. So, we're going to be getting into our flirting mood, right? Our flirting mindset, taking some deep breaths as we're getting ready, preparing ourselves for our date. I want you to think about the ways that you can flirt, that are not exactly with your words or with something like eye contact, body language, tone of voice, your expressions, something like that. And really building your flirt and your confidence for the date before the date even happens with what are you wearing? What are you wearing? I'm curious. Are we putting on some perfume? Are we doing some styling choices? Are we going into aesthetics? Jewelry? Yeah. Earrings? A necklace? What's happening? Are we showing a little décolletage, a little collarbone, a little chest perhaps? You do not have to at all. No, you don't. Only an option. Are we doing like pants? A skirt, a dress, what's happening, short sleeves, long sleeves, ultimately wearing something that you feel really good and you feel really confident in. Are we doing something with our makeup, with our hair, right? Does that apply or fit for you? Just making yourself feel so freaking good and so confident going into the date, knowing that you don't have to impress, right? That's not what this is about. You don't have to perform, but setting yourself up just to have a really good, amazing time, making that connection wherever you may be in the dating process, learning something new about somebody else, learning something new about yourself too in this process. That gets to be part of this. So, starting the flirt by building your flirting mood, mindset, and confidence before the date even starts. Putting on something that you feel really good in, that you feel comfortable in, something that you feel really good, you feel really confident in, so that you can strut into that date. The shoulders are back, the chin is up, the chest is out, posture is posturing, popping, so that you can feel good and ready. You're walking into that date. Making eye contact, smiling, being expressive, bringing the energy right at the start. I think that is how the flirt is going to get kicked off for you as now we get into some flirting and conversation tips for the date. All right, we're on the date. We're feeling good. They are now in our vision. Yes, we've started to establish our flirting mood, our flirting mindset, our confidence, knowing that we're a huge part of this date as well. Okay, then you see them. Just be expressive with your eye contact, with your body language, smile, bring some energy. This doesn't have to be super over the top. I feel like sometimes when we get into nerves, right, we tend to go, oop, the other way. And now we're like flailing our arms all about or something like that. Or heck, do that. Do that even if you're being called to do it. But just bring what I'm trying to say is some of that energy, right? Smile, walk into the date with confidence, with purpose, but also with this ease, right? You're there to have fun, have a conversation, catch a flirt, catch a vibe, and see where this goes. Is this a first date? Is this a second date? Are we well into the dating process, looking forward very much to what comes next? Or maybe you're starting from the very beginning, right? Date one. This is how each date is seemingly going to begin. It's a new experience, bringing some of that beginner's mind into it. Okay, so how you can break the ice, your conversation opener starter. I love just a good old compliment and question, right? So if this is someone you know, maybe you greet them with a hug, right? If that has been established, or if this is a first date, you can simply sort of wave a little bit. You could reach out and shake your hand. hand or shake their hand, have that be your greeting. Or if you're feeling comfortable, if you've been chatting with them a little bit, perhaps on an app or even in the text for even a couple days, greet them with a hug. Doesn't have to be anything super intense or one that lingers, right? Just, hey, like, this is so wonderful to meet you, to see you in person. Yeah. And then offer them a compliment question, right? You look so great tonight. How's your day been going? You look so great tonight. I'm so excited to meet you. Hungry? Yeah, right? Let's get some dinner if that's what you're doing. So I think starting with some type of relatively non-physical compliment, you're not necessarily calling out something specific about their physical appearance. But what caught your eye, right? Was it their smile? Was it something they were wearing? Was it their hair? Or I don't know, they're wearing a necklace or something like that. What caught your eye? Complement that, a relatively safe, non physical, yet somewhat physical compliment is always going to be a winner. And then pair that with a question so you don't linger on the compliment too much. And then with the question, you're right there in the conversation. You've broken the ice, whether you're on the first date, somewhere in between into the dating process. And then they will likely respond with a compliment back, right? Acknowledge the compliment and then answer the question. Can't wait to get some food. Oh, it's been a crazy day. I'll tell you all about it. That kind of thing. So yes, that was in many ways our opener. No matter what number date you're on, really bringing some energy, getting the vibes, feeling good. You're both feeling comfortable, starting to let your guards down a little bit with that compliment question combination, right? Smiling, feeling yes, bringing the energy and then going from there. So, some more flirting tips and conversation tips coming, of course. Now we're into the date, wherever you may be. Maybe it's a dinner, maybe you're out at a park or something like that. You're at a party, right? You're doing something, I don't know, going rock climbing. Who knows? The world is truly your oyster. A few flirting tips here as now you're on the date. We're going to talk about some ways to really craft engaging, meaningful conversations, to maybe ask some of those questions you want to ask without directly asking the questions because you want to spice it up a little bit. You don't want that date to be an interview. No, you want it to be fun, lighthearted. So when it comes to the flirting and asking questions, crafting, having engaging conversation, think about being interested rather than being interesting. It is totally okay to lean in, right? Make eye contact, smile, be expressive as you're asking questions, as you're offering some compliments, as you're crafting, having your conversation. Truly be interested in the person you're talking to. You could even, maybe you've seen this spin on social media, sort of falling in love with yourself a little bit in this process too. Like, damn, you know what? I'm amazing. How could this person not like me? I ask amazing questions. I listen. I smile. I've got humor. I'm cute as a button, right? I wore my favorite outfit or something that I feel really good in. Yeah. So think about being interested in this person rather than approaching this as if it's a performance that you have to be interesting, that you have to say the just right thing, that you have to make the most amazing first impression, that you have to just be on the whole time, right? Breathe, continue to breathe. Please relax into the date, relax into the flirt, into the conversation, and listen. Show interest, be attentive, have intention. That's all part of this. That's not often something you think about when you think about flirting, but it's truly a big part of this process. So relax into it. Think about your flirt style. You've taken the free flirt styles quiz, right? Where you've got the sincere flirt, the physical flirt, the playful flirt, and the traditional flirt, knowing that you probably have a dominant flirt style, though everyone has elements of all four flirt styles. So bring some of your flirt style into this. The quiz is completely free, linked in the show notes here below. And also think about how Okay, so you can flirt in all five dimensions. I'm not going to go super into that here. You can check out the flirting episode or heck, follow me if you're not already. I talk about this from time to time where you've got the flirting dimensions of the physical dimension, the emotional dimension, the energetic dimension, the intellectual dimension, and the spiritual dimension. So think about all the ways you can play in this space of the flirt. And what do you want to learn about this person? What do you maybe want to learn about yourself in the process? What do you want to know? What are you curious about? Right? Really bring some of this energy into the flirt and then layer it. We're going for at least a 3D flirt, a three-dimensional flirt, bringing your flirt style into this. And so maybe you want to layer an emotional type of flirt with a little bit of intellectual and then some physical, right? And then your flirt style is playful. I know we're getting a little jumbled up here. So here is an example. Okay, so I am a playful flirt, perhaps surprise, no surprise. And to play with three dimensions here, the physical, the intellectual, and the emotional, I'm going to lean in a little bit, make eye contact, then the flirt double take, pull the eye contact away, bring it right back, and say something like, "Gosh, you smell so good tonight." And then I'm going to lean back, come back into my sort of stance position here, wherever I'm sitting, wherever I'm standing, all the while making eye contact and be like, "Can I tell you about the first cologne I ever wore?" And then they're going to be like, "Yeah, sure, sure." And then I'll tell them about how I picked this random cologne that was in one of those magazines you used to read, right? You could get the samples. And I was like, "Oh my God, I love this. It smells so good. It smells so good." And then I could say how I would take the sample and rub it on my wrist or on my neck and then go to school the next day and try and impress my crush or want to smell really good for my classmates. And maybe we have a laugh about it. And now we're getting into storytelling. So started with a little bit of that physical flirt with the compliment, right? And now we're connecting on emotional level and then taking it a little bit into that intellectual level. Maybe you then go, "What was your favorite subject in school?" or something like that. And so there you have a three-dimensional flirt, right? You're really building it, you're really layering it, bringing the energy, being yourself, showing up as you, asking questions. What's on your mind? What are you curious about? Going into some storytelling. Yeah, making observations, right? What are they saying back? How are they receiving this flirt? And then get more into the conversation from there. Keep flirting. Couple more flirting tips here for you, flirty. As I should have said, I cannot believe that I have not stated what flirting even is this far into the Flirtini. Flirting is, of course, all about connection, and I really define it as the authentic expression of interest in the present moment without expectations to make a connection. That is ultimately why you're on this date, wherever you are in the dating process, getting to know someone more deeply, or perhaps getting to know someone for the first time. I think approaching each date every single time as okay, this is an opportunity to form a connection, to deepen a connection, to learn something more about somebody, to learn something more about myself. How am I feeling, right? How do I like this person? This is a huge part of the dating process. Okay, so now to start asking some of those questions so you can get the information you're looking for without sort of asking in the most direct way, like, "What do you do for work?" or "What's your family like?" or something like that, which of course you want to ask those questions, ask away. Do not let me hold you back. When it comes to asking questions, though, ask open ended questions. This is my philosophy that allow someone to go into storytelling, that allows someone to open up to you, that allow you perhaps to then open up and share something new or something different about yourself. So trying not to ask questions that are a quick yes or no, or yeah, good or bad, right? That you can kind of answer in a relatively succinct way. You know, if you're on a date with someone or you're not feeling it or they're not feeling it, or someone is really shy, you're both anxious or nervous, perhaps, which you could talk about that, to be quite honest. Oh my God, I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous. My heart is a pitter patter. Yeah, you could talk about that. But in order to really develop relationships, right, at some point, one and both of you are going to have to open up. So, some ways to ask more open-ended questions that are really thought-provoking, engaging, play into your flirt style, really play into the five dimensions of the flirt, and allow you to deepen that connection. Here we go. Couple of examples here for how to ask more open-ended questions. So let's say you want to ask the question, right? What kind of music are you into? What kind of music do you like? Maybe you ask, what's on your playlist right now, right? Do you watch music videos? What you been watching on YouTube? That's a way to ask someone about their musical tastes without necessarily asking them, so what kind of music do you like? And then maybe you pull out your phones and you share your playlist, or maybe you could even make one of those Spotify lists together where they sync up, right? What you're all listening to and what your preferences are. And then you have a joint playlist. Fantastic. Really, really fun. So maybe it's early in the dating process, or you feel like you're sort of asking those questions like, how was your day? How are you? All good, all good. You could also say, what was the highlight of your day? Right? What's been going really well in your life? Or maybe what hasn't? Let's talk about it. I'm here. I want to listen. Yeah, and learn more about you. And I think it's really refreshing ultimately when we can be honest with one another. Not that you have to be forthcoming and share all of your secrets, right? Everything about your life right away. Of course, wouldn't advocate for that. But vulnerability really is the new sexy. It really, really is. And just being able to be vulnerable with somebody, to have conversations that go beyond the superficial, that go just that even one step deeper, one level deeper, where you're really connecting on some things where you had shared experiences in your life. Maybe you've both been through, right? You and the person you're on a date with have some similarities there with your stories, with things you've experienced. And when you can go into the realm of storytelling, asking some of those deeper questions or reframing some classic questions like, how are you? What kind of music do you listen to, that allow you to go deeper. That is ultimately what we're getting at here so that you can develop if you're dating because you want that long-term committed relationship, or heck, even if you're not. I think we're all looking for connections in our lives that are just a little bit more, not exactly meaningful, but just have some of that emotional depth that we can feel seen, understood, acknowledged, witnessed. That is ultimately where we're going with this. Maybe not where you thought this episode was going to go, but that's where we're at. So, there are some of the conversation tips. And I really want you to pick up my download Textual Chemistry, 46 pages, where I go into just giving you tons and tons and tons of examples of how to craft these open-ended questions, of how to flirt and create engaging conversations, how to open it, close it, pick it up, right? Whether you're in the dating apps, you're on a date in person, you're in the DMs, it doesn't matter, you're texting. These tips I have for you will apply in all scenarios throughout the dating process. So, yes, that's my plug. That's my plug. Pick up the Textual Chemistry download. And if you listened all the way to the end of the episode, the end of the Flirtini, and you want to grab it, Flirt 25 is your discount. You're only going to hear that here for 25% off. All right, wrapping up this Flirtini here next. All right, Flirty, that is a wrap on this Flirtini, the seventh. I can't believe it, as you all voted for flirting and conversation tips. And that is exactly what you got here in this episode today. Thank you so much for listening, tuning in, streaming, wherever you may be in the world. Please rate, review, subscribe to the show if you haven't already. Share this with a friend you want to share some flirting and conversation tips with, and then make sure and join me in the next episode. Yeah. Thank you so much, Flirty. No fancy ending here. See ya.